Good morning.
Good morning, Beckham.
How are you, man?
Bill Love here. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Bill. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing okay, seeing how I found out last night that I was a racist.
We talked about this story earlier at the Valdosta School Board meeting last night, and I'll be honest with you, Bill, reading the reports and hearing what happened last night, I'm missing something, and maybe you could enlighten me into exactly what I'm missing, because you have a principals retiring, I should say.
Right.
And Rufus McDuffie, who has been outspoken, saying, I was not forced out, I was not caused to leave, I left on my own volition, ready for retirement. I think Sandra Allen along those same lines, yet Floyd Rose doesn't see it that way.
And I don't know where he gets his facts from.
I mean, if it comes from the horse's mouth, I don't know what else you have to go from.
Well, I don't either, but, I'm pretty insulted. We hire by the most qualified person.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Kaysen has done a wonderful job in doing that and attracting top-notch people into our school system. And, I'll give you for instance. We had 3 candidates that we wanted to hire in the first go-around of the high school principal, and the top one was African-American.
Mm-hmm.
And after his school system found out that he was leaving, they offered him a sizable raise to stay,
mm-hmm.
which put us right back to square one again. And it's a difficult position to be put in when your principal retires at the end of the school year with no advance warning. And
I was going to say that really does constrain you. And people retire for different reasons at different times. But
right.
When you're under that, have that pressure, because you got to have somebody in place by the beginning of the school year and really before then. And so you have a really finite window of time you can get all this done.
That's right, and it's very narrow. And so, in normal protocol, a principal of a person in that high in the school system normally gives you a advance warning around Christmas time,
mm-hmm.
and so you can start looking and putting feelers out. And when school ends, everybody of quality's got a job.
Right.
I mean, they're all gobbled up, and they're happy where they are. So,
put you in a very tough position, and the board in a very tough position, but still. You've done your due diligence, and as we talk about a lot, I mean, you go through this thing, and you not only should you be colorblind legally, you are colorblind, because you're not looking for a black principal or a white principal. You're looking for the best qualified principal, be it man, woman, black, white, Hispanic, doesn't matter.
That's exactly right. And on top of all that, the Justice Department, we're trying to get out of this 30-year DSEG order. And the Justice Department is on top of us to make sure that we do that.
Right.
And so now, what was the reason for the Justice Department at the start? Okay? Think about that.
Right.
Now, a Floyd Rose, an African-American, saying, don't hire the correct person, hire the most African-American person. Well, that's exactly what we don't want to do. We want to hire the most qualified person. And I'm going to say this, Reverend or Floyd Rose or whoever he is the president of the local chapter of the SCLC. Mm-hmm. That's the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Martin Luther King started that. And in a famous speech, maybe Floyd Rose heard the famous speech. I don't know that he did or didn't. Some of the stuff coming out of his mouth, I want to say that he didn't.
Maybe listen to it again.
he said that, in a famous speech, he said, I have 3 small children. I may be paraphrasing here a little bit. And it's my dream that they not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2012, we're doing just that. We're trying to judge by the color of their skin, not the content of their character. And that's really disappointing when racism is coming from the racist direction.
Yeah.
So we're doing the very best we can. Our job as a school system board members is to hire the best person we can possibly afford. And that's what we've done, and that's what we'll continue to do.
I was also a little bit confused, I guess maybe the best word, by the comments made by George Boston Rhymes. He also addressed the Valdosta City School Board last night, and I don't quite exactly know what he wanted out of this as well. He said, even if you hired 2 more African-American principals, that wouldn't be enough. So I'm not exactly sure what he's looking for.
I have no idea. I guess what he's saying is, and they have said this in the past, that white teachers, and this is right from Floyd Rose, white teachers can't teach black children.
And that's insulting to every teacher, black or white.
That's right.
It's in the field of education, because in public education, you teach whoever they send you, being black, white, Hispanic, extremely high learners, those who have learning disabilities. I mean, you teach whatever they give you, and you do it to the best of your ability, no matter what color you are.
And that's what all teachers do.
I mean,
all good teachers do. They don't care.
Exactly.
And it's a shame. It really is, and it's insulting. And we sit there and take it. It's public participation, and we're not allowed to, not by law, but by decorum, just they're allowed to say what they want to, but there's not a dialogue that goes on. So,
right. And people, and I'm glad you bring that up, Bill, because people have wondered sometimes, well, how come I don't get an answer when I address the board? And there are reasons behind that. I mean, because if you have board members a discussion starts back and forth, well, right, that's not the proper setting for that. Now, but I will say, and I've known this from personal experience, that if you approach a member of the board before, after a meeting, or just give them a call, you guys are, you want to hear from your constituents and are usually pretty open to doing that.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Kaysen is as well.
He'll take any phone call from anybody and take any appointment from anybody. That's what's incredible, his busy schedule. But if a parent calls, or it doesn't have to be a parent, anybody calls, he's willing to sit down and talk with them. Floyd Rose, George Boston Rhymes, everybody at the SCLC and the NAACP, even Mark George has an open line of communication with Dr. Kaysen, but yet they refuse to sit down and talk with him and hash out these problems and really, truthfully find out what the facts are before they start talking about what they think they know.
Bill, we're joined this morning by Valdosta City School Board member Bill Love. Bill, were you, or to your knowledge, were any of their school board members or Dr. Kaysen approached by either Reverend Rose or George Boston Rhymes prior to last night's meeting about this subject?
No, they just, somehow it got leaked out, and I sent you a copy of that email that they knew who we were going to hire before we even hired them. So there was a leak there, and that was the only communication that I had, and I got it from a friend. I mean, they didn't even directly send it to me. The email was sent just to the SCLC members, I think, and it just, obviously, once an email is out there, it pretty much goes around town.
Yeah.
So, no, he didn't call. He didn't do anything. He just shows up at the board meeting and starts crying foul and racism and everything else.
And again, whenever you're talking about people who are being pressured out of jobs, but then that person says that's absolutely not true, to me it ends there. I mean, that's where the discussion should end. I mean, that's the person you're talking about, and if he says it's not true, well, then it doesn't need to be discussed anymore. Why
didn't they call him himself? I mean, I'm sure Coach McDuffie would have gladly taken a phone call from him, and they could have got it from firsthand from the horse's mouth.
Well, again, I guess maybe there are a lot of parts of this that bother me. Maybe what is the most part is it takes away from the fact that we're about to start another school year here in another month, and it's there are so many real problems that public education faces, be it budgetary concerns and other societal problems, that this takes away the spotlight from those issues. So.
Right, teen pregnancies, drugs, alcohol abuse. I mean,
conduct in the classroom.
Yeah, I mean, it's just exactly. I mean, it's just there's so many other things that our energies could be spent on besides this.
Yeah. Bill, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have a great one.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.